Hey, what's up guys, Rockskull here, and since it's been a couple months since ARK Survival Ascended's release, I wanted to answer the question of, is it worth it? In this video, I'll be looking at what I would consider the more important aspects of ARK Survival Ascended to try and answer this question for you. Also, since it's a remaster, I'll be comparing it to its predecessor, ARK Survival Evolved. Before I begin, I just want to add that this is going to be mostly from a single player / non-dedicated perspective. I'll try my best to include things about the public servers from the talk I heard from the community, but it's not going to be from personal experience. If you thought I missed something, feel free to leave a comment about it. First up, we got one of the main selling points of the game, which is the graphics. This section of course gets a pass by me, with the game looking much better. Like, every biome is a step up in my opinion. The beaches feel a lot less plain, the jungles feel a lot more dense and actually jungle-like. The visuals of the snow biome look great, and the ocean is a huge step up in terms of visual detail compared to ASE. Also, a lot of the caves are freaking beautiful, and it gives me big hopes for the visuals on Aberration. A lot of the new animations are pretty cool as well, with more realistic character and death animations. I think the only nitpicks here for me are that the character models feel a bit off, and I was hoping for a bit more extra updates to some of the older dino models. They did give them all more detail if you look close, but some of the models overall just look outdated to me. The modding on the remaster is also a definite improvement in my opinion. We have easier access and implementation of them in our worlds with a dedicated page. Console players also finally have access to the mods. An addition of premium mods also seems like a good thing. I've heard premium mods are sort of controversial, but I honestly don't mind the idea at all. Some of these modders put a crap ton of work into these projects with little payout, and having an option to straight up get money from downloads is probably very appealing, which will lead to even more great mods. Now for gameplay, between the two games, I think it's pretty safe to say that they are still pretty damn similar. The only standout improvements to me is that in ARK Survival Ascended, the building has improved a ton, the new minimap feature is nice, and they added a lot of pretty good quality of life features. The building got improved a ton by making it easy to switch between the type of mode you want your structure to be placed in, combining structures into one for ease of crafting, and removing wires and pipes to make things easier. I will say the removal of pipes and wires makes the game lose that unique challenge of building these things in certain areas, but I can still understand why they did it with how annoying it could be before. The minimap they added is also a big improvement over the old map. You can make waypoints, it shows a more precise location on where you are, and your death location becomes much easier to locate. Some additional quality of life things they added were slightly improving the dino AI, making it easier to switch ammo types, and having quick access to a shoulder pet's inventory. All these features are pretty cool, but I can't help but feel that there should have been a little more. Like, there are still some pretty big gameplay problems I was hoping would be fixed, like the awkwardness of underwater / air fighting, useless dinos that should have gotten TLCs, and a lot of creatures still having very basic behavior in the wild. For example, I can't be the only one who would think it would be really cool if diurnal animals were full on asleep at night, but nocturnal creatures were actively hunting. Also, moving on to the recently released Scorched Earth, there was no major gameplay changes here either, which sucked a lot. This map is infamous for having a lack of content, and with there being no artifact caves, alphas, or a change to the final boss requirements, it really does leave a bad taste in the mouth. So as an overall summary for my opinion on the gameplay improvements, it's okay, but there's a lot of missed opportunities. Next thing I'm going to go over is the content updates to the game. Basically, what the devs have planned is to release a remastered ARK Survival Evolved map every few months, with the official ones coming with these DLC packs that have additional content. I'm fine with this map release schedule, but this whole DLC pack thing they do is quite odd to me. The content in it is pretty good from what I heard, but having a $30 DLC pack for a game that is already $45 is quite scummy to me. This also makes it straight up double the price of ASE. I would greatly prefer if that effort was put into improving the game itself, and having paid content be geared more towards the skins of the game. There's so much missed potential with all the possible structure, dino, and character skins that I'm surprised they don't take advantage of for paid content instead. It's a lot less predatory, and I'm assuming it's a lot easier to implement too. For the updates to the game itself between maps, there often isn't much there at all, unfortunately. For some reason though, near the beginning of the year, they just straight up released the Giganoraptor on the island. My guess as to why was because they were telling us the center was going to release around that time, but of course ended up not being so. Still a very odd choice to me, as the community voted for it to be on the remastered Ragnarok, not the island. These devs have a major problem of announcing release dates early and then delaying things last minute. Even the recently released Scorched Earth was technically delayed by a few days before release. They said it was because it was a holiday weekend, but with how these devs have constantly delayed things in the past, you can probably guess that I'm a bit skeptical. My advice to the devs is to make release dates a lot more general until you're certain the content is ready. Another thing they do I want to add here is that they have dev updates every week to talk about content surrounding the community and upcoming content. A very cool idea, but it is often executed in a poor and inconsistent manner. Some of these dev updates literally have nothing on upcoming content, which makes them feel really hollow. I think it would be really cool to at least put a screenshot up of stuff the devs are working on for more transparency every week, especially when we are getting closer to the release of the map to build hype. Now finally, we got one of my biggest gripes with the game, which are the technical aspects to it. The biggest standout to me being performance. Ark Survival Evolved was kinda bad, but ASA is one of the worst performing games I've ever played. You need a pretty beefy PC to run the game at all, and the graphic settings they have still aren't great either. Some literally don't do anything, and a lot of things are missing that you're forced to do yourself with commands. I'm not a game dev, but if I can run beautiful games like God of War and Red Dead 2 on a PS4, I'm sure we can make ASA look pretty good and run on mid-range PCs. I really hope this issue gets fixed at some point, but my hopes are low since the updates to optimization recently have become very minimal. Next technical aspect I want to go over is bugs. Not many bugs were fixed from ASE to ASA, and even ones that were fixed have been replaced with bugs ASA brought itself. Some bugs are still so bad you can't even play the game. Like this one where it doesn't let people you invite join your non-dedicated server. You are forced to make it public currently for it to work, which was not an issue in ASE. Still having past bugs with more on top is not a great sign for a remaster. Last thing I want to touch on here is the servers. As stated in the intro, I'm not an expert, but I've heard the servers still run super poorly. The servers themselves are also still full of exploiters and cheaters, and the devs don't do a great job addressing it. Additionally, a big problem I've heard floating around is Nitrato's monopoly over the servers on ASA. Basically, they bought the server rights to ASA before the game was released, and if you want to make your own server now, you have to go through them. Luckily, recently there's been some ways around it to make your own servers from your PC, but this is still very scummy to me, especially since their prices are very high, and a lot of people complain about server issues with them. So now that we've gone over everything, what is the answer to our main question? At the end of the day, it's for you to decide, of course, with what I've shown. But in my opinion, for most people, I would not really recommend Ark Survival Ascended in its current state, especially if you already have Ark Survival Evolved. You'll get more or less the same experience with access to more content, and it's more likely to perform better. Also, since ASE is cheaper, I would probably even recommend it more to newcomers interested in the ARK franchise. To be fair to the devs, Ark Survival Ascended is still technically in early access, but when you put a price tag on it that's more expensive than the OG game while currently having less content, I won't treat it lightly. I think things will get better if we give the game a couple more years, just like how Ark Survival Evolved was, but it's hard to recommend the remaster in its current state. Still, at the end of the day, I have to say that I'm making this video because I really love this franchise and I want it to succeed. There's so much actual beauty in the environments, creatures, and music I don't see enough people talking about. It probably just gets covered up by all this crap I can only assume gets thrown to the devs by the high-ranking suits working at Snail Games and Wildcard. We can only hope one day that these people can see the beauty too, and give these devs more time and space to make ARK the epic game I know it can be. Other than that, that's all I have for today, so thank you all for the support as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.